Alright, so in this video I have the most expensive pair of sneakers on Nike's website right now. These retail at $300. This is a really interesting pair. It's called the Nike ISPA Link Access. And I'll get into more details on that. But first, look at these crazy shoes. They look kind of somewhat familiar because of the upper, how it's kind of like a knit upper that wraps around the midsole. However, this midsole happens to be all soft air. I don't really know what this is. It's the softest, craziest, weirdest looking pair of sneakers, and they're so incredibly different, and there's so much like innovation kind of happening in a pair of sneakers like this that it's pretty eye-catching for what they're trying to create. Now, if you've never heard of the Nike ISPA line, ISPA stands for Improvise, Scavenge, Protect, and Adapt. On the side it has 0.01 issue. I don't know what that necessarily means, but it says, in keeping with the ISPA ethos, this box is printed with bio-based algae ink. The other thing that's really interesting is on the top of the lid, there is a bunch of like algae and stuff. Microcytis and Dermetstia chloridia overa. I'm not really a scientist. I don't even know why these are there to represent this, but there is a little scan tag here, so let me scan this and see. Interestingly enough, when you scan this, it says algae ink is the kind of the thing of the future. So maybe this represents the algae ink that it was used to create the box. Kind of weird, but kind of cool. And then you also have this kind of rubberized plastic bag here, the ISPA on here, Improvise, Scavenge, Protect, and Adapt, and it's little pull tabs on here so you can have your sneakers in a little bag. So I kind of like that they added that in there. $300 though. Let's get back to that. My first impression straight out of the box, crazy, right? Like, you look at the shoes and you're like, dang. These are like by far the most different pair of Nikes I've seen. Not a lot of heavy Nike branding other than on the cage there's a little bit, and there's a little bit of swooshes here and there, but all in all, you look at the shoe and you go, that is a crazy looking air unit. Yes, you can sort of see through it. The sole is a little bit translucent as well. And then when you look at the shoe, it looks like it's kind of pieced together in all sorts of different materials and in a way where it's not using a lot of glue or anything to hold everything together. A lot of stitching on the upper for some of the padding, and then just a wrap material around the midsole, which we've seen on some of the other ISPA products. One of them I covered on this channel previously. But the colorway reminds me of a candy corn. Halloween's coming up. Obviously, we got our fancy yellow, orange, and white on the upper, but then the clear soles is really what draws your attention to the shoe. It's definitely something that is bulbous and crazy, VaporMax-like, Scorpion-like, etc., but this is different than all of those things because of the way that this air unit is put together. It looks like you have a flat tire straight out the gate, and I'm like, just wondering how this technology is going to work because of that. Now, then you put them on feet, and you're like, it's not airy feeling. It doesn't have a lot of give like an Air Max 270 or like a Scorpion or a VaporMax even. It doesn't feel like that at all. It's actually quite firm, and I feel like it's because of the midsole right here that you're walking on. This is pretty thick rubber on the outsole here. And it's a heavy shoe, as you can hear, so I feel like it's definitely a substantial amount of weight on the bottom because of the rubber, and because of that, you don't really feel like you're walking on air. You feel like you're walking on something firm. In fact, a lot firmer than anything else I've tried in recent times from Nike. It almost gives you like that old school sort of like rubber midsole feel because of the firmness of the midsole. At least that's my experience. If you guys have a difference in experience, leave a comment in the comment section. But that was my overall impression. I was like, whoa, this is a lot firmer than I expected when you look at something that looks so airy. But just because it's firmer underfoot doesn't mean it's a bad product. Obviously, I like soft and squishy stuff. I like stuff that has like a lot of give, but I also do like a firmer ride underfoot as well. And this one is interesting because it looks like the opposite. Now, immediately after getting these, I had to disassemble the shoe and see if you can completely take every single part of the shoe apart. And it's not like the other pair that I reviewed of the ISPA line. You cannot completely dismantle this shoe. There's actually the knit on the upper. It's actually fused to the bottom of the shoe after you remove this midsole. So the midsole does come apart if you take the laces out, and you can kind of bend it and make it in two separate pieces with exception of the back tab right here. This actually sews the midsole and the upper together, so it's not completely detachable, but I like the idea that you can really disassemble the shoe. It is kind of interesting when you're walking around though, because of the way that the knit kind of stretches over the midsole. There's little gaps on the side, so you can see your little toe popping out here, and it definitely has like a handcrafted, homemade sort of vibe when you're wearing them, which obviously this is not something you probably want to perform in. It's just something where they're just kind of evolving technologies as we see it. So I wanted to give you guys some words of what Nike says about this product because, again, $300, it's really, really crazy. The first images I saw these, it was just nuts. So I definitely want to know Nike's stance on what they're creating with this product. So it says Nike introduces the ISPA Link Access, its first exploration in creating a fully circular shoe, featuring its culture of innovation. Every part of the Link Access can be recycled. The design uses interlocking components, as few materials as possible, and zero glue. The color of this one is Total Orange and Sonic Yellow, available September 12th, which I'll link in the description for anybody interested in buying. The Link Access has 100% recycled polyester Flyknit upper that's precisely engineered to fit over the outsole compared to the traditional cut and sew method used for the ISPA Link. And its 100% recycled TPU tooling was achieved by using scrap airbag material. The shoe also has a 20% recycled TPU cage. So ISPA, again, improvise, scavenge, protect, and adapt, is a Nike design philosophy that challenges creators to experiment, break molds, and reimagine products. The underfoot sensation, highlighted by a blown plastic midsole and mechanical Nike Air cushioning, adds a responsive and perfect amount of bounce. The Link Access uses the original Nike Air Presto sizing, so as I mentioned, the small is a men's 9-10, medium is a men's 10-11, and so on. So are these worth $300 or not? Well, obviously that's going to be up to the individual that buys the product. If you want new, cutting edge, different, something that kind of represents a step towards the future of what could be with Nike, I think that this is a really cool kind of interesting concept pair of sneakers. But really, it's just that, a concept pair of sneakers, something that can definitely be a conversation starter when you're wearing these, because again, they're just so crazy and different, especially in this day and age. If you've been a massive fan of Nike Air and the Vapor Maxes and the 270s and the 720s and the Scorpions, like, this is going to be right up your alley. The $300 price point, though, may not. So it's really kind of one of those shoes that if you can pay to play and you want something, again, different, then by all means, link in the description, you can go ahead and cop your own pair. There's a lot of other shoes that are very valuable that Nike creates for comfort and for performance, and this is one of those shoes that's kind of in a different element. As you already know from the ISPA branding on it, it's made to be different and not be for everybody's feet. So I like that they have something so different and creative, and I bought quite a few different pairs in the ISPA line just to see what the new stuff is going to be holding. And something I like about the ISPA line is it really reminds me of the Alpha series from back in the day, from the late 90s, I believe it was, early 2000s. The Nike Alpha series was dope. It was like the kind of out of the box sort of thinking branding stuff. Like, so the Nike Prestos, and they had a whole bunch of different Nike basketball sneakers as well. Just stuff that was totally different than your average pair of sneakers. And I've always been drawn to that side of footwear, as well as, you know, your Jordans and your retros and stuff that has nostalgic value as well as nice colorways and stuff. I really like the technology and the forward thinking side of it. So for me, I saw these in pictures and immediately I was like, I definitely need to try those. Definitely want to put them on feet. And overall, I would say it's a fun experience on foot. It's not the most comfortable. It's not the softest and squishiest. It's not the best performing, but it is a very unique, fun looking pair of sneakers and has an overall different vibe than anything else I've tried on. The cushioning around the inside collar is actually pretty nice. There's these little pillow inserts here. There's like 4 of them. Pretty comfortable. I like the overall look on the heel as well, with like the 3 different like tabs coming and splitting, and then like just creating this pull tab. It's a functional pull tab as well. Very easy to put on your feet when you hold on to this. Again, my size, I got a 9 to 10 or a size small, and it fit me right. It is a little bit snug across the top of the shoe for me, which is no surprise because I have a little bit of a wider foot, and the top section right here is a little bit snug, but not anything where I would complain about it. The overall feel on feet, again, totally different than I expected. Like, the air unit is in the middle of the shoe, but then on the sides you have these weird bubbles that you can push in on, and when you put them on feet, you think that the weight displacement, like when you're pushing in the toe, it would like fill these out to make it a little bit more firm, but it's not the case. It's actually soft on the outside as well. It is really interesting, and I'd love to know more from Nike on why this is the way it is and what it is that they were trying to accomplish with that. But again, lots of rubber on the outsole of the shoe, and it's kind of like the recycled plastic, as they were saying, and you can see there's a couple different pods of it through the outsole. So 2 in the front, 1, 2, 3 in the middle, and then 2 in the back right here. Again, if you guys are interested in checking them out, link in the description. If you want to check out any of the other ISPA products that Nike has, some of the stuff is on super deep discount, worth checking out, like the regular ISPA links. Those things are completely removable from the upper and the outsole and midsole, so the shoe can be completely dismantled. It's kind of a fun one to look and see. But I'll put a link in the description to the other products from ISPA and Nike, again, in the description. But leave a comment in the comment section. What do you guys think about the ISPA Link Access? Is it something you guys are interested in or not, or is it something just totally crazy to you guys? I get it if it's totally crazy, but I'm kind of drawn to that. I think the craziness makes it a little bit fun and unique. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell if you guys want to be notified of when my videos are posted. But appreciate you all for stopping by and watching. Have a good rest of the day, and hopefully we'll see you back for some more content. All right, peace, guys.